My name's Karli Eller and I'm a third grade teacher. And today the poem that I selected is a poem called Bed in Summer by Robert Louis Stevenson. I chose this poem for my third graders because I think it goes really nicely with a science unit that I teach on the Earth, Moon, and Sun. During that unit, we take a look at sunlight and daylight and seasons and the position of the sun and the earth and why we have different seasons. We also kind of examine why winter days are shorter than summer days, why we have more daylight in summer than in winter. And I think that students will be able to make that connection following that science unit when we read this poem. As far as text complexity, it was a little difficult to determine because it is a poem. I think sometimes it's easier to determine the text complexity of a book. But I looked at several websites and all of them said that this would be a great poem for third and fourth grade students. Bed in Summer by Robert Louis Stevenson. In winter I get up at night and dress by yellow candlelight. In summer quite the other way, I have to go to bed by day. It's interesting. It's clearly a child because it's going to be talking about having a bedtime. And in winter, I get up at night and dress by yellow candlelight. I don't think that he is getting up in the middle of the night and just getting ready for the day so that he can go out and play. I think that he's getting up in the morning, probably getting ready to go to school, but it feels like it's still night, even though it really is morning. But this is because in winter, it's still dark when we wake up. That because the days are shorter, it might feel like night, even though it is morning. But then comparing and contrasting, I think Robert Louis Stevenson's using that to kind of say that in summer, it's the opposite. It says in summer, quite the other way, contrasting there that I have to go to bed by day, that when the little boy goes to bed, it's still light out. It doesn't feel like it's bedtime because when he goes to bed, the sun is still out. I have to go to bed and see the birds still hopping on the tree, or hear the grown-up people's feet still going past me in the street. So when he's going to bed in summer, he's saying the birds are not asleep yet. The birds are still chirping and hopping on the tree. And he's hearing grown-up people's feet still walking down his street outside of his house. I'm wondering if maybe people are out later in the summer, that during the winter they might go home and be inside their house, not only because of the temperature is lower, but because it's dark. Sometimes at 5:30 at night in winter, it's already dark, and people feel like it's time to be inside and go through their nighttime routine. Whereas in summer, when it's still light at 8 o'clock, people might be going for a walk and still enjoying the day because it doesn't feel like it's late because the sun is still out. And does it not seem hard to you when all the sky is clear and blue, and I should like so much to play, to have to go to bed by day? Once again, I think he's kind of lamenting that why am I going to bed right now? The sky, it's still blue. The day's not over. And that, making a science connection here, in summer, the days are long. And if he's going to bed at 8 o'clock, which is a typical bedtime for a child, it's still going to be light out because the amount of sunlight that we receive in summer is quite different than in winter. We have longer days. The longest day of the year is held during the summertime, during that season. I think that overall, the little boy's saying that it's hard to go to bed at the predetermined bedtime because it just doesn't feel like bedtime. It doesn't feel late. It feels like the day isn't over. I think that Robert Louis Stevenson has done a great job of showing what might go through the mind of a child who has the same bedtime every night, and how that might feel different in winter versus in summer. That it's the same time, but it doesn't feel like the same time because of the daylight, because of sunlight, not being present in winter at that time, but being present during summer.